Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us again for this week's edition of Premier Hoops Weekly. Today, we're joined by none other than Mike Taylor. Mike, thanks for joining us today.
Man, appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I've been following you for a minute on Instagram, just seeing everything that you're doing. It's a pleasure to, finally get some interaction with you.
Wonderful to hear.
I've been quarantined for a long time, being overseas for 10 years. Being in another language, being dropped in another culture, away from what I thought was my norms and what I thought was, peace. Yeah. I had to, rethink and go through these thoughts, go through my childhood. Like I had so much time within these 10 years just being in a space for 6 to 10 months, in a whole nother country, another language, no foods, So I had time to go through all my feelings, thoughts, emotions, not only mine, my mother's, my brothers, how they would feel. Like I just had all this time. So I'm loving this time right now.
Mike, now that you mentioned separation, Premier Hoops Weekly, this is the show that's all about overseas basketball. And you're an overseas basketball player. However, Mike, you're the first person we've come across who's had a stop in Poland?
Yeah.
Poland.
Yes, I was in Poland. Grzalic, Poland.
Okay. Oh. Mike, you're going to have to explain to us. Okay, we've heard of stops in Spain. We've heard of stops in Russia. We've heard of stops in Lebanon. But, Mike, how did you end up in Poland?
A lot of players, a lot of people, and a lot of fans don't know too much about overseas basketball. They only know, the big names, the big cities, like Italy and, the Spain and French basketball and China with the NBL basketball. Like, they only know the hot spots. But it's so many levels to overseas basketball. In every country, it's a level A, a level B, a level C. And in practice, I've been in the best of places, and I've been in the worst of situations. From Serbia to Czech Republic, I've been to Asia, to Korea, China. Lebanon, Qatar. I played in Dubai for a little bit. So I just been able to get a global perspective of the world. And I think that's I know that's what changed my perspective and changed my mind to see things other than how I was taught growing up in just the American culture, and just believing our way is the only way and our way is the right way. You know what I'm saying? Just to be able to have an open mind to respect other cultures. And I think that's what expanded me the most.
Please tell me what you were thinking and take us through your experience when you heard the following. With the 55th pick in the 2008 NBA draft, the Portland Trail Blazers select Mike Taylor from the Idaho Stampede?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Not Mike Taylor from this college or that. No, from the Idaho Stampede. Mike, you have to explain this to us, because that's the first time, and we're talking about the commissioner here reading your name. He read all of that. You can look it up right now. Everybody here watching for Premier Hoops Weekly, this man made history being selected, the very first selected to the NBA from the developmental league.
Correct.
Mike,
correct.
You have to take us through that.
And the Idaho Stampede, the team is not even in existence no more. The Utah Jazz had bought that franchise from Idaho, so now it's just a Utah team. So it's not even in Idaho anymore. There's no professional basketball in Idaho. So, okay, taking you back through that process of that I was in the D League? Well, I have to go back a little bit before that to kind of set that experience up. So from 2004, I went to junior college in Marianna, Florida. My junior college was ranked #1 junior college for a whole decade. I want to say from 2006 to like 2016. It was the #1 junior college for a whole decade, and I started that culture. Me and my point guard from from Chicago, Stephon Hanna, we kind of developed this culture to where it was like both of us was going at it every single day. So my team only lost 7 games in 2 years. We was like 54-7. My first year we went all the way to the National Junior College, the Final Four. We finished 4th. My first year in junior college. My second year, we lost in the state finals. At the buzzer, the whole starting 5, we fouled out the game. So it was one of those type of games, you know what I'm saying? But my mom had got sick when I was down in Florida. I was miles away. I didn't go home for 2 summers. I stayed in Florida. I just worked on my game. One of my best friends was kind of my motivation and kind of my discipline, my guide. What you gonna come back here for, bro? We in the streets. We ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? You need to be there working on your jump shot. Like, you trying to, you know what I'm saying, go to D1. You trying to go Division I, right? This is what you need to do. This what you know what I'm saying? So that's what I did, making 500 shots twice a day. You know what I'm saying? Then that set me up to have a full scholarship to go to Iowa State. While I'm at Iowa State, I choose to go to Iowa State because my mom was getting sick back home. So I had offers from like Tennessee and UAB and all of these offers down in that conference, in that area, the SEC, all of that the Southern conferences. I had a lot of scholarships, but I needed to go back home. I needed to be closer to my family. You know, I grew up without my father, so I was like, you know, I had to take on that responsibility for my younger brothers and my mother, my older sister or whatever. So I decided to go back to Iowa State. Iowa State, I'm there for a year, and this is the year Kevin Durant is in the Big 12. This is the year where Kevin Durant is the stud, which he still is today. And I was fortunate enough to play against him, against DJ Augustine, Mario Chalmers, Brandon Rush, Darrell Arthur, that Kansas Jayhawk team. I played against Greg Oden, Mike Conley, against Ohio State. I mean, I just played everybody that year. And in the Big 12, Kevin Durant was the leading scorer. I was from 5 to 10 that whole year. So I felt like, you know, I was tested. Like, I felt like I passed those tests. You know what I'm saying? I was ready for that level. And unfortunately, some things happened to where I lost my scholarship at Iowa, in Ames, Iowa. I didn't go to some summer classes that I was supposed to go to. I signed an agreement with the head coach. One of the classes didn't go toward my degree. I didn't go to the class before I could get it dropped. I breached the contract. So I ended up losing my scholarship. Plus, you know, I was going through, my best friend had died. I got his face tattooed on my shoulder. He died my very last game at Iowa State. So I didn't end up finding out till after my game. But that day, you know, he had passed. So I was kind of dealing with that this whole time while I was at Iowa State. My mom had got sick in junior college before I come to Iowa State. Then my best friend dies within like 6 months of me being at Iowa State and playing a full basketball season. And, you know, I lost my basketball scholarship. Like, mental health is an important issue now. Like that just became like popular to our culture, you know what I'm saying, to our generation. That just became popular within like the last 2 to 3 years. When I was growing up and I was going through it, my mama was sick. That was like my structure. She was my backbone. She was the one who, you know, taught me my morals, my values, my respect, you know, that was my everything. And then my best friend, the one who basically kept me in college, gave me the, you know what I'm saying, the sense to see my situation through, because if it was up to me, I would have came back home. You know what I'm saying? So with those two pieces, you know, my mental health was out of it. It wasn't popular to talk about it. Couldn't talk to my coaches. You know what I'm saying? It was no way. I just had to grow through it. I just had to go through it and grow through it. So after that, I get an opportunity to go work out for a trainer, a scout trainer in Sacramento that knew one of my AAU coaches. They telling me like, man, it's gonna take 3-4 years for you to, you know, you immature and this, that, and the third. And it's just like, nah, this is what I want to do. And I know that I can do it. I just need the opportunity. So I was given an opportunity to go down to Sacramento with Gus Armstead. And I was probably down there for 2 months. And this is like before like reality TV had started. This is before like Airbnbs and all of this stuff. Like we really had a basketball house there. It was overseas players that have been playing overseas for like 6-7 years that was in the same house. They was pulling up in BMWs. I just got kicked out of college. I don't know what's next. I don't got no money in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? But I'm in the house with professional basketball players. And I get a chance to work out every single day, 2-3 times a day. Get to see what the professional life is like. And I'm just absorbing it. I'm just being a sponge and just, you know, absorbing it. And just that set me up. The Idaho team was coming down there. I guess the scout told the agent, and they sent the scouts down there. They like, he's ready. So the Idaho coach come down there, and we like what we see. That day, when he introduced me before we worked out, because we usually work out, it was like a Friday, we usually work out a little bit, and then we go straight into 5-on-5 games. A lot of Sacramento Kings guys was there because it was in Sacramento. Matt Barnes used to come in there, Bobby Jackson used to come in there. Kevin Martin, light-skinned Kevin Martin, that used to play Sacramento back in the day. Like I would have those guys in my workout. So for me, they was probably just staying in shape, fine-tuning their game. But for me, I was going head through the wall. You know what I'm saying? I was hungry. I wanted to test myself and see if I was at this level. So that set me up to get to Idaho. So I was going into my senior year of college, but I ended up getting to the D League, the Idaho Stampede. Right. And once I got there, man, I just turned the new leaf. I made a few mistakes that, you know what I'm saying, led to me losing my basketball scholarship. I lost it mentally. I kind of checked out. But as I processed death, as I started to process death and my friend's death, I realized everything that he said was like, he knew in high school that I was going to the NBA. He was telling me then, he was like, you got something that I've never seen before. He's like, you got speed. He was like, you out of control right now, which is, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? He used to get on me like you turn the ball over too much and, you know, hinking out there, you know what I'm saying? He used to be on me, but he like, you fast as ever, you know what I'm saying? So he knew before I did. And as time go, you never really heal from it because it's still like, but it kind of eased it. I kind of start to see what he saw as I just put the work in more and more, you know what I'm saying? And just I started to figure it out. So When I got to the D League team, it was tough in the beginning. So when I first got to the D League, I was there for 4 days, and I got released.
Whoa.
I was there for 4 days, my very first time. I'm there, I watch a game, I practice like the first 2-3 days. Then the Portland Trailblazers, which was the affiliate of the Idaho Stampede,
right.
They called down a player. They sent one of their players down. I was the last man on the roster, so I was the first man to go.
Oh.
Right?
Oh. Right.
So that happened in 4 days. I don't even get a chance to play. I don't even get a jersey. Like, I get released.
Wow.
So then, maybe 2-3 weeks after that, the coach is telling me, you can stay right now and practice the next day, or you can just leave. I'm like, so when is the other guy getting here? They like, oh, he'll be here tonight. So you can practice tomorrow and then you can leave the next day. I'm like, yeah, of course I'm gonna stay and practice.
Right.
So of course I stayed and I killed this guy. Killed him. So I left that with the coaches and everybody. So after that, they was like 2-3 weeks later, they called me back. It's Christmas Eve. And I'm sitting right in front of my mom, and they're like, you ready? And I'm like, do I got a choice? They're like, no, we want you, like, now. So I'm like, send me my flight confirmation. I'm ready. So I actually left to go back on Christmas Eve. My mama, like, crying. I'm like, why you gotta leave? It's about to be Christmas. Yes. She like, why you gotta leave? It's Christmas. I'm like, Mom, this is my dream. You know what I'm saying? This might be my chance. I gotta go. So I just left on Christmas Eve. And after that, my team going on like an 18-game winning streak. I get in the D League right before the showcase, the D League showcase.
Mm-hmm.
So at the D League showcase, and it's in Idaho. It's at our gym. So we go on like a 8-game winning streak right before this break. And during the showcase, it's like basically like my coming out party. During this time, I make a splash in the showcase. So all the NBA scouts are there. So I'm getting all of these call-ups. I get about 10 plus call-ups, and I'm not taking any of these call-ups.
Now, please explain to our viewers. You have to explain to our viewers what you mean by call-ups.
Okay, so in the NBA D League, which it's the G League now. It's like a 10-day contract. So if you're playing real good in the NBA, in the D League, which is the minor league for the NBA, one of these professional NBA teams, like, let's just we would like for him to take this 10-day contract and be with us for the next couple of weeks. Right. So therefore, they would sign my rights, and I would go to play for Portland, and I would get a contract for 10 days. And if you get more than 2 consecutive 10-day contracts, the team has to sign you for the rest of the year. So at this time, I'm fresh to the D League. I don't even know what a call-up is. So that's the first reason why I'm not taking the call-up in the first place. And it's like, in the back of my head, this is the honest truth, right? So in the back of my head, it's like, I never put my name in a draft.
Right.
So that's why I never took these calls, these call-ups. So my agent called me one day. He's like, yo, why you not taking these call-ups, da-da-da-da? And I just told him, like, if I take a call-up, then I won't be able to put my name in the draft, will I? And he like, you know what? It's a great question. He like, I'll get back to you in the next 48 to 72 hours. He called me back within 4 to 8 hours. I was like, you know what? We have a unique situation. We might be the first player to be drafted from the D League to the NBA. And I was like, this is why I wasn't taking those call-ups, because my dream was to be drafted to the NBA. And I never put my name in the draft. So you're like, wow, you're in a unique situation. But I was a professional player. I was a professional athlete. So I felt like going into the combine and going into the collegiate combine and the pre-draft camps and all of this stuff, I felt like I was a step ahead of everybody.
Wow.
Because I've actually played and got stats in the D League.
Right.
I could shoot the NBA 3-point.
Right.
I was 38% from the 3-point line.
Mm-hmm.
I've already have proven stats.
Mm-hmm.
I won the championship. In the championship game, I scored 27 points in 28 minutes in the D-League championship game. So I already built a professional pedigree. I was the first person to do something, so nobody really knew about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They knew, but they didn't understand. And I just felt like the NBA just treated me like another rookie.
Mm.
And I felt like I was basically the poster boy to your minor league.
Right.
And this is what I still feel like to this day. I'm the story that everybody wants to be out of the D League.
That's right.
I created that story.
We really, really appreciate your time. We really appreciate the stories. And again, you can find Mike Taylor on Instagram at MikeTaylorMade88. You can find information through there about his foundation. Find out more about Mike. And if you want to look at some highlights, his big 3 highlights, just look up Mike Taylor highlights, season 3, Ghost Ballers. If you want to see a guy having fun on the court, I'm Dr. Shabazz with Premier Hoops Weekly, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate the guy who put this all together, our founder, Michael Chamberlain. Mike Taylor, it's been real, man.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I look forward to, you know what I'm saying, doing more work with you.
Definitely. Definitely. I'm Dr. Shabazz with Premier Hoops Weekly. We're signing out. We'll see you next episode.